Hi everyone, Nicholas Buffett is here from sunny Cyprus and welcome to today's tutorial. Now today we're talking about data entry forms and using them to add data into Microsoft Excel. This is normally a feature we see in databases, just makes it so much easier to add data and create new records, especially when your spreadsheet has got many columns and you have to look along and make sure you're adding the data in the right cell. Data entry forms make it so much easier, especially when you can do this with one click only. And once we've opened the form, we're going to be able to add records, edit records, and we're going to be able to search records. Not only search, we're going to be able to search with logic operators like greater than, less than, equal to, and also use wildcards. So enough talking about this, let's jump straight into it. Okay, so I've got my workbook open. I've actually got two worksheets here. We're going to be working from this one first. I've actually got another one here which is using the same data but using a table just to see how forms works with data ranges and with tables. So first of all, let's just have a look at this. So this is just a simple grade book where I've got student names, I've got the group that they're in depending on which teacher teaches them, and here I insert the grade for their practical assessment, and here I enter their grade for the theory assessment. And then for the practical assessment, I give a percentage, which is calculated. You can see the formula up here, or the calculation. And then I calculate a letter grade using a VLOOKUP, and that uses this table range here. The functions and the formulas in this tutorial are not important, but what is important is to understand that I actually enter data here for the name, the group. Here I put the practical result, here I put the theory result, and everything else is calculated automatically with either calculations or functions. So that's the first thing to note. Now, before we can do anything with forms, we have to add the forms command to our Excel interface. Now to do this, I can add any command up here. This area here is known as the quick access toolbar. And then here we've got the tabs. Oops. These ones here, home, insert, drawer, page layout. These are tabs for the ribbons, and we can add commands in any group in a ribbon. So this page setup, this is a group in the page layout tab. If I go to review, this is the group comments in the review tab. So you can add the command anywhere you want. Now to do this, you can either right click up here in the quick access toolbar, like this, and go to customize quick access toolbar, or you can right click in any ribbon and choose customize the ribbon. Once you open this dialog box, you can choose whether you're going to add or remove a command to the ribbon. So if I go to customize ribbon, I can choose the ribbon from here. So you've got here, there you go, home, insert, draw, page layout, which are the tabs up here. And or I can go to the quick access toolbar, and that's this area up here where I've got things like undo, redo, and format. Now, I'm going to be adding my command in the quick access toolbar because I want it there all the time. It's a tool which I use very often, nearly every single worksheet I have. So I'm going to modify the quick access toolbar. I'm going to go to the commands. I'm going to choose all commands so I can find the forms command. This is in alphabetical order, so I'm going to scroll down to F. There we go, and now I want O. Forms. Form, there it is there. And I'm going to select this and add it to the quick access toolbar here. As soon as I click on OK, I now have this new button up here, Forms. And this will be on my interface whenever I open Excel, unless I decide to remove that command. So what does this do? Well, essentially, whenever you click on this button, depending on which active cell you have, so if I've got this here cell selected, this is not in anything that looks like a table. So Excel is not going to be able to figure out where is this table that you want to make this form in. So if I was to click here, for example, it's going to say this can't be applied to the selected range. And you need to select the cell in the range. If I click anywhere in here, okay, anywhere in this table, you can see I've got some values up here because my practical result is actually out of 60 marks, the theory result's out of 61. But if I click anywhere in here, click on this button, it will automatically identify these things here as my headings. So student name, group, practical results, so on and so forth as the headings. And it will allow me, and it will create that form for me. Okay, so it's automatically ignored this thing here. Now, if I click in this particular table here, this is where I've got my VLOOKUP, and I click on this button, it can actually see there's some data here and it looks like a table, but it can't easily identify the headings for me. So what it's saying is, if you want the first row of the selection or list used as labels and not as data, click OK. And if I do that, can you see that it's identified this title here, prac, for practical, which is merged together across two columns, and both of these are part of that. Can you see that? Practical, it's got two values, theory two. Isn't that fantastic? How it's actually identified that for me. And I can just add values in. I can go to the next one, by next, and I can just see all of these here. Now, that's just so you can see how you can generate the form with one click. So let's go have a look at using the form now. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to click anywhere inside this range here. I'm going to click on my forms button. Now we can see here, as soon as I click on forms, what it does, it shows me a preview of the first record. And you can see here, this first student here, Naima Vance, and it's got my results here, for example, 26 for the results. There it is there. Now, what I want you to notice here is the practical percentage and the practical grade. Theory percentage, theory grade, total percentage, and total grade. These are grayed out. We can't do anything with these. And that's because inside these cells, we have functions. And that's really important because you don't want to accidentally write something or edit something which has a function, because then you lose your function or your calculation. So it does it for you. Isn't that fantastic? Now, from here, from this view, we can actually go and scroll through and see all the different records we have and go all the way to the bottom. We can actually delete a record as well, which I'm not going to do now. What else we can do is this. I can click on new. Now, as soon as I click on new, it shows me a blank form and I can add an entry. I'm just going to add just a random entry there. I'm going to give a group, let's say the MP group, a practical grade of, say, 52 and the theory grade of 27, let's say. And now, as soon as I press enter, you can see it's added. If I close this now, it's added this record here at the very end of this table. Isn't that great? And at the same time, you can see all of these functions have been updated for me automatically. So it's such an easy way to add information into a record or add new records into our spreadsheet. So what I want to do now is bring your attention to this very last record I just added, this one here. The very next row is this class average here. So when I click here and I try to add a form, it's going to see, when I go to new, I'm going to be able to, can you see this looks a little bit different now? Some of these formulas are not there. The ones that are there is the practical, the total grade, because it's looking at this very last line. And that last line is part of the class average. So if I try and add something in now, I'm just going to write Nick, group, I don't know, say NP, and I start adding some values, say 33, not there. Practical result 33, practical grade, I'm not going to put anything in there, theory result 33, and I just click on enter now. Can you see, because forms, the form itself has seen this as the last record, it's actually added the new record after this. And this is where the issue comes in with a table range or a data range instead of a table. It has seen this as part of the data in this selection here, okay, and added the next record there. And we're going to now move to working with tables instead of data ranges over here. All right, so what do I have here? Well, basically I've got exactly the same data. Here's the same data I had in the previous worksheet. And what I've got here is I've got some conditional formatting. You can see here, if it's above a certain grade and they get a level A, it turns green. I've also got some data validation because this practical result is out of 60, the theory result is out of 61. So if you try and add a value, so I'm going to try that there. So instead of 37, I'm going to put, say, 66 and press enter. You can see it says value must be between 0 and 60. So I've got some data validation in here. I'm not going to go into that. I've got other tutorials for that, but I want you to be able to see how fantastically forms can work with tables as well, and how it will respect things like data validation and conditional formatting. Now, I've got the same thing here at the end of this line here. At the end of this table, I've got one line empty, and then I've got my class average at the bottom. So let's do exactly the same thing here. I don't need to do anything. My forms button is on my interface already. So as long as I click somewhere in this table, because it's a table, it's going to identify straight away, and it's going to add my record there. So I'm going to go to new. I'm going to add the next one, Nick. Actually, I'll just write my whole name there, so it looks similar. And I'm going to put the group NP. Practical result. I'm going to respect this time the data validation. I'm going to put 50, and the theory result again. I'm going to respect it there, and I'm going to press enter. Now, what I want you to have a look at is this. Can you see it's added this record in my table at the end, and it's also applied the conditional formatting, and at the same time, it's also added my value in the chart. You see, there's me here. Oh, I've got the highest grade. Wow. Okay, so the great thing with forms is it's just like adding the data in manually. Everything else gets updated automatically. Now, clicking in here again, and now when I go to forms, this is what happens this time, because this is a table, and this table, if I just click in that corner one there, this table, can you see it's identified up to here? So if I now click on form and I try to do a new record, I'm going to put, oh, look, it gives me this error. Cannot extend table or database. And that's because, if I close that now, I've got this row here right underneath the table. And what it's saying is I can't extend this table, which goes all the way to here. I can't extend it down one. So what I can do now that I've seen that error message, I can just select this, drag that down, or move it away. And now when I click in here, I can go to forms and I can add my next entry. So new, I'm going to call this a, I don't know, test. Oops. So that's the student name. I'm going to go to group. This time it's going to, I'm going to break one of the rules now. I'm going to put, let's say the group is GKA. The practical result is 66. And the theory result is, say, 37. As soon as I press enter, can you see value must be between 0 and 60? Retry. So it's respected my data validation rules. I could correct that to, let's say, 56. Okay. And if I didn't want to do that and I just wanted to cancel this entry, then all I have to do from here is click on restore. But if I press enter, there you go. It's added my other entry there, but I forgot to put the name in when I did that. So I can just add that in. Well, I don't have to add it in there. I can go to previous. There it is. Forgot to add the name. So we might as well do some editing as well. So once you find a record that you want, let's say I go to this one here, and I can go add the name, and there. Okay. And now when I press enter, there you go. It's added that value there. So we can see we can add new records. We can edit records. So I can edit any one of these, simply change it. The data validation rules are respected. The conditional formatting rules are respected. Any tables are automatically updated, or charts. And you can see here in this chart here, I've actually got another student there, test with that grade there. Okay, the next thing I want to have a look at is searching. So clicking again anywhere in this table, I'm going to go to my form button, and this time I'm going to toggle between viewing and adding records to searching. So this button here is actually a toggle switch. So clicking on it will go from criteria to form. So if I go to criteria here, then I can simply find someone. If I'm looking for someone called Nick, and I find next, there it is. Can you see it's actually found that record there? Perfect. So if I want to find, let's say I'm looking for somebody who's got a test grade or a practical result, which is higher, what have we got here? Higher than 50. So I'm going to put greater than 50. I'm going to go to find next. There you go. I've got this one next. So these are all the ones, and you can see here the practical result greater, and that's it. If I go to previous, it's those ones which have got greater than 50. Let's go back to criteria. The next thing that you can do is you can have multiple search criteria. So I want everyone who's got the test grade greater than 50 and greater than 40 for their, what have we got? No, for the theory result, I'm going to go to greater than 35. How about that one? Let's try that one. So for the theory result, also greater than or equal to, I'm going to put 35. So let's go to find next. There's that one there. Look, 54, 38, 56, 37, and that's it. That works really well. So you can have multiple search criteria. Let's try a wildcard. You can actually do. Let's go to criteria again. So I can get rid of that. Let's clear all of that. And I can also search on things which had formulas in. So let's say I want everybody who's got a, where are we? A total grade of C. So total grade C. Next. And this just makes it so much easier. Total grade C, total grade C. So I've got two students that have got total grade C. And this makes it just so much easier to work through this. Okay, the next I just want to do, I just have a look at some wildcards as well. So let's go to criteria. And I want to find everyone who has a double L in their name. So I'm just going to put asterisk, LL asterisk. And that should find me. Let's get rid of the C criteria there. And there we go. Josh Ellis. That's the first one. If I go to the next one, you see all of these people have got a double L in their name. Isn't that just fantastic? That's just so easy to work with. All right, well, if you have found this interesting, if you've learned something new, if you've just had a revelation, you said, wow, why haven't I been using this before? By all means, make sure you like and make sure you subscribe. I'll see you again in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.